right, so the packing is done and move-in day has arrived. What's next? Time to unpack and adjust to life in DC. Yep, the start of the semester arrives faster than you think. And then you wonder if you're forgetting anything, if you've packed too much or if you packed too little, and whether or not the semester will go well for you. If you ever have nervousness about those things, you're not alone. But I promise that once you get accustomed to your surroundings, you'll be more relaxed and handle things in stride. This episode is about the first week, and it's going to be a short one. Nevertheless, I got great insight to give regarding move-in logistics in the first day of class. First, the apartment building. Throughout the semester, all attendees will stay at a 6th-floor apartment complex called the Aria. As an attendee, you will share a unit with 3 other people of the same gender. Within each unit are 2 bedrooms, 2 beds in each bedroom, a single bathroom, a kitchen, and a washer and dryer. The living space isn't a big one. Here's what one side of the bedroom looks like, for example. Even so, it's definitely suitable for a 4-month stay, and you can spend much of your time in the common areas located in the 2nd, 4th, and 6th floors. I spend much of my time in the 4th floor in particular, and in the beginning, the 6th floor. And besides, you don't need to carry that much stuff. Silverware and plates are readily available in the apartment, as well as a dishwasher and some pots and pans. You can carry a few pots and pans for personal use, but again, you don't need much. You don't even need to carry a ton of clothing and shoes. Remember that you'll only be in DC for 4 months. Carry a few pairs of casual pants and shirts with you, but you'll also need to carry some business casual clothing. The dress code for class will always be business casual. Your outfits don't have to contain suits, but I recommend carrying at least a couple to look fancy. Also remember that you're only there for 4 months and that your roommate needs space for their clothes too. Do not be that kind of person that fills up the closet like this. Anyway, the Aria is a nice building. It takes less than 5 minutes to walk to the metro station from there, and it's also less than a 10-minute walk from Trader Joe's, Harris Teeter, and Giant. So whenever you need to go get groceries for yourself, those 3 stores are close by. You can get up and go even on the fly. I really liked staying at the Aria and thought that the coordinators couldn't have chosen a better location. Move-in day generally happens on the first Sunday of the year with the program. In my case, it happened to fall on my birthday. Don't worry, I ended up doing something special the day before to commemorate it. And I got emotional during the move-in, but then I adjusted myself to the building and got myself pumped up for my internship. That's the thing about the first day. It's the day to walk around the apartment, find the common areas, and get yourself ready for what's to come in the succeeding weeks. What happens during your first week will depend on whether or not you've locked in an internship. Ideally, you will have obtained an internship before arriving in DC and be set to start your internship on the very first week of arrival. However, there are people who arrive with internships whose start dates fall 1, 2, or even 3 weeks after arrival. It all depends on the conditions of your internship. And if you don't have an internship before arriving in DC, you will have to spend the week sending in more applications. Believe it or not, you won't actually be told to stay back if you fail to get anything on time. Which goes back to what I said in the first episode about how one way or another, you will obtain an internship as part of this program. If you're really struggling to get an internship, the program coordinators can kick in as networking resources to assist you in your search. Or you could even reach out to a guest speaker from class to see if they can help you find an internship. Somebody in the program did that. They reached out to one of the guest speakers and obtained their internship that way. Granted, if you're going to reach out to a guest speaker for a spring internship, you need to do that within the first 3 classes. Otherwise, you risk failing to fulfill the internship requirement and missing out on a core DC experience. I'll talk about course credits and contents in the next episode. Shortly after arriving in DC, snow started to fall, which made the first week wonky for me. It caused a slight shift on my start date from Monday to Tuesday or Wednesday, but I started getting on track after that week. The thing about the DC seminar is that classes are scheduled for Thursdays in the afternoon from 1 to around 4 or 5. At least in my year that happened. I see that for the 2026 year, classes are scheduled to happen all day. And if I recall correctly, there were past years where all-day classes happened too. But anyways, more about the first day. Despite the snow, the first class managed to occur in person. I won't disclose the exact location, but classes always occur in buildings not far from where the entire cohort stays. Before class, we needed to read 3 passages that we would discuss with our professor, Dr. Daniel Gitterman. He's a really accomplished guy who's been involved with the program for years and is the one who supervises the whole thing. And our first assignment was to create a single PowerPoint slide introducing ourselves and our internship sites. We did our class introductions first, then talked about the syllabus, and then discussed our assigned readings about recent election results. We also got to meet with our first guest speaker of the semester. I won't name names, but our first guest speaker held a very high position for a member of the house. We met them at the Rayburn House Office building, which I never knew existed beforehand. So we went in, met with this person in their office, and they were very chill, lighthearted, and interactive. Despite holding a very high position, they were down to earth and gave honest tidbits about where they saw themselves in a few years, especially since the person was still relatively young and had graduated from UNC within the past 10 years. That's what the first day of class was like in 2025. If you're watching this video from the future, maybe from the 2030s or even the 2040s, your first class of the Honors DC seminar could look very different. But whether classes happen throughout the day or just in the afternoon, the lecture, reading, and guest speaker components should all remain. Oh, and the mentor dinner. We also had a mentor dinner later that evening. In our apartment, 2 past attendees of the Honors DC seminar came to eat dinner with us. They had both participated in the Honors DC seminar in 2022, and they had since graduated from UNC and started working full-time jobs. They were our mentors for the semester, and they organized the dinner as a way to connect with the current cohort and learn more about our internship placements and semester aspirations. If I recall correctly, our first dinner was at Adepas from Adepa Zone, which, by the way, were very tasty. Highly recommend you go to Adepa Zone whenever you visit DC. And yeah, that was all part of the class agenda. Ooh, class agenda?